at the, the breakdown and, no, it's funny, like, it's all very clustered around events.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm happy to step aside and let someone else, I can help them and, uh, like I know nobody put awards, really, as if there's help. Yeah. If she wanted to do that, yeah. That's what I was thinking too. If not, I would, or, you know, I'll go wherever people need me. Hi. Honey's not here. So let's see, I have to call the meeting to order. I know this stuff. And you do we do a roll call, right? You know, and some of the others, they just like read them off. I like it. Sure, I'm live. There it goes. Okay.
have 4. Sure. Yeah. And then after the roll call, I'll mention the call-in line. It's like we can get going.
Okay, we're going to get started. Good evening, I'm Deb White. I am filling in for Connie Odden, the chair for the Human Rights Commission. And we'll begin by calling to the meeting to order, and I'll let Josh do a roll call.
Sahama Mehdi, Connie Odden, Deb White,
Here.
Shinwar Mai, Mikhail Pauline Normandan,
Here.
Eileen Cohen Pearson, Jennifer Troska.
Sorry, just got connected.
Is that with you, Jen?
Yes.
Excellent. I'll just quickly mention, for those watching this on TV or streaming, if anybody has a comment on any agenda item, the public comment line is 218-299-5001. That's 218-299-5001.
Thank you. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes from our May meeting.
I'll make one quick note. Sorry, I should have said this earlier, but Sergeant Martin will not be able to be here this evening.
Okay, so we'll
remove that.
Remove that from the agenda. So is there a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment of eliminating item 6, the law enforcement update, and also to approve the minutes from our May meeting? Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion, Deb. This is Mikkel.
Okay, thanks, Mikkel. Eileen, would you second it? Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. We will move on to item number 5. We have our guest speaker, Chelsea Dietrich, who is here to talk to us about the FM Pride 2021 events. Thank you, Chelsea, for coming. Already on, Josh?
It should be.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I wanted to just come here to introduce myself because I'm new to this role this year, but I joined the FM Pride Planning Committee in the winter of 2018 as the dance party coordinator, and I joined it to just learn, grow, and educate myself, as well as connect more with my community. So this year I took over as the coordinator, and so I'm just trying to reach out and expand our networks a little bit more. So I reached out to Josh, and he was helpful in getting me on your guys' agenda. So if you don't know much about the FM Pride Committee, we are 100% volunteer run, and we plan 2 major events during the year. So we have a winter Pride, which is smaller, and then we also have our summer Pride, which is our big mainstay event. This year it is August 12th through 15th, and we have about, I think, 5 or 6 events during that time for all ages in Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, and the surrounding communities. We do have people that travel from smaller communities, so it's a great event that brings people into our areas as well. So like I said, I just wanted to come in and introduce myself, but also I was hoping to ask for the possibility of your committee or the City of Moorhead sponsoring our events this year. I don't actually think in the past you guys have been a sponsor from the past few years that I've seen, but probably haven't been asked either. So I'm reaching out to all the cities and asking. I did send some materials that I can always forward along later if no one received them, but we have lots of different levels, and we would just love to see that support from the City of Moorhead for our event that has a lot of people within the community that comes. And so if you have any questions about any of our events that we're holding, I can take any questions you have, but I'll keep it sweet and short today.
Thank you. I will open it up for questions. Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So why, I know Josh, I did ask, I mentioned this to you, and this is more of a comment then. So I guess we'll have to find out what we've had a booth in the past. So evidently we weren't sponsors, but we've had a booth. And I know the sponsorship level comes with a booth, right?
Yes, that's
So,
accurate.
Yeah, so maybe we should would we be able to look into what we've put into that before? And so, and see what kind of a budget we have because I know that it was my understanding that was our intention of definitely having a booth again. And so if we could combine that with a sponsorship, and I saw you have various levels.
Yeah, we have, I think from the entry level is 200 up to, I believe it's 5,000, so.
Josh, do you have any sense of what kind of, do we have a budget that we could, like, would we be able to put some money towards that if?
Yes, yeah, the HRC has a budget, I believe, of $2,000. And not too much planned spending throughout the year. There was a banner that the HRC recently purchased, but that's pretty minimal. So there is funding available.
I know that our speaker sent some handouts that had, or some documents that had the different levels. Just in terms of getting feedback that might help Josh, does do any of the commissioners have any thoughts on a level that they would rather have us aspire towards, or, you know, just to give him a little guidance, any thoughts on where you'd like to be at?
This is Mikkel. I actually printed it out and I handed it around to people in my office because I'm trying to get some sponsorship going for you guys. But I didn't really read it that closely. I was just excited to have some information. So I don't think we sponsored before we just had a booth because I don't really know if we had a budget up until just recently. Josh, am I misunderstanding?
No, you're not. There was some confusion over that over the past few years, but we did get that set straight this year, so.
Okay, good. I don't know what other things we have planned for expenses, but I mean.
Yeah, there aren't any others that I'm aware of.
Right.
I know there is a plan for some funding for Indigenous People Day, but I believe the city council set aside a separate fund for that.
Okay.
And actually, this might be helpful for clarification too, because I'm pretty sure we would want to be in the parade. Is there, so we know we can get as much information ahead of time, is there a separate fee for us to participate in the parade?
Nope, the parade is free to walk in and be a part of, so. Yeah, a lot of the sponsorship benefits are you get the parade booth, but then it's just visual representation across our different materials, our marketing materials.
I wonder if this would be something, Josh, should you take it to our city manager and see, because should it be the city or Human Rights Commission?
I think the Human Rights Commission.
Yeah.
So I think if you guys decide as a group that you'd like to sponsor, I believe we can do that. I mean, I can double check on the back end, but if right now you guys decide you want to do that, I think we can move forward with that.
I wondered what people thought then. I know the lowest level is just $200 and it's a booth, but there's a $500 level that would have the booth and some other things, but it would also give, just a little more support, and also would allow us, you would have an advertisement, right?
I believe,
Yeah.
yep. I believe it has an advertisement in there, that one.
Yeah.
Deb, this is Mikkel again. My feeling is I think we should at least do the 500.
That was kind of my feeling as well. I just wanted it to come from the commission. Would you like to make a motion on that?
Sure. I make a motion that we sponsor the FM Pride in the amount of $500. Does that sound good?
Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Is that Jen?
Yes, sorry, Jen.
And is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Let me ask quick, Jen,
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
was that an aye from you as well?
yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
I realized I didn't say aye, so aye. Thanks, Josh. All right, motion passes. And then I think we should make sure to communicate this with the city, because in the past, I know that the city council has participated in the parade, so we'll need to have volunteers to do from Human Rights Commission for Pride in the Park on Saturday the 14th, but then on the 15th, if we can get wider participation in the parade, I think that'd be great. And I know that that's what they've done in the past.
That sounds good.
Did you say that, so the parade is the 15th, is a Sunday?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on Sunday.
And is registration already available for that? So, okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's on the website, but I can send it in an email too.
Yeah, if you could pass that on to Josh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any of that
if you want to
information.
work with me on that, and then I can send out like a calendar invite for Saturday and Sunday to the group, and people can let us know when their availability is.
Great, yeah, so just keep that in mind, commissioners, that we'll need folks to, what we've done in the past is we've divided it up as much as we could for the day while we're tabling in the park on that Saturday the 14th.
We've also, Deb, in the past, it wasn't last year, obviously, but the year before, I had purchased a bunch of like tattoo stickers and had those at the booth. And also, some people have those freezies, those popsicles, if we want to have those in a cooler. But if we do that, we should start stocking up on them now, because the closer it gets to Pride, the less you're going to find those things, because everybody buys them all.
Yeah.
Just a little note.
That's a good point. And I know I was out away when you did it 2 years ago, and I remember you guys were all baking, so it was really hot. So that
It was
would be a good thing
hot.
to- Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe a few of us, I don't know, Josh, is that something that we could just bring on our own, or should we get those, or?
I think we could probably work to acquire some.
Okay. But yeah, and if there is other nice things, that just some fun things to give away, just to get people to come up to our booth.
Yeah, the tattoos, I can order some because I have them in my cart already from the years before. But those were really fun because people came up and they wanted to put them on, and then gave us a chance to visit, and it was fun.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We truly appreciate your support. And if you have any questions, reach out. I'll leave my card for you. And then also I'll email Josh the additional information.
Great. Well, we really appreciate it. It's a great event, and it's great to see how much it's been growing every year it just gets bigger and bigger, and it's just an important part of the community. So thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So we're not discussing item 6, so we're moving right down to item 7, subcommittee assignments and soliciting volunteers. So this is a follow-up of the work that we've been covering over the last couple of meetings, and most of you submitted your rankings for the committees on which you wanted to serve. And just to remind folks, this would be where we're looking for, we've formed 4 different subcommittees, and then members of the commission would sort of be the lead person on different subcommittees, and then we would recruit members of the community to assist on these subcommittees. So I'm going to see if, first of all, Josh, did you have any other votes or any other rankings that you received after the ones that we had in our packet? Okay, so we have the information in our packet, so everyone should have seen that. I know it stretches onto 2 pages, so make sure if you're looking at it that you see that there's the 4th one that's on the next
Yeah, sorry, the
page.
system doesn't like spreadsheets.
Yes. I'm sure, yeah. And then, Mikkel, since you're vice chair, I'm going to ask you, I don't know if you and Connie talked about anything. Do you have a preference on how we would go about determining who would be the kind of the lead person on each of these now that we have the rankings?
I have not talked to Connie about that at all. I think we had a number of them. I didn't print it out. I'm so disorganized right now. I felt like a lot of them did a lot of them match up? Like everybody kind of had the same 1, 2, 3s as.
Yeah, we got
Is
a lot
that
of people
how it
under
was?
the first one, events.
Right.
So maybe that might be if we figure out events, then the others it may sort of fall in place after that. So,
Right. Yep.
okay. Well, should we just start talking
So-
through each of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So for events, we have everybody, Mikkel has it as her second choice, and everybody else put it as their top choice. I'll just say right now, I'm willing to step aside for anyone who would like to take the lead on that. And I'm happy to take the lead on any of them, and I'll also assist anybody who ends up taking the lead on this. So I'm happy to be a member of that, but I don't need to be the lead person if someone else would really like to be the lead person on it. And I know we don't have, Shinwar's not with us today.
Who else was on the, I'm sorry,
So
Deb, you're gonna have
Jen
to be
and
my
Eileen.
eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jen and Eileen have it as their top. How do the two of you feel? Do you have a strong preference for staying on? Because the other thing is that might be one where we would want to have co-chairs too, because this is probably going to be the one that is the most involved, don't you think?
I agree with that, Deb, because I feel like that's going to be more work. That subcommittee will be more work than any of them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Jen here. I'll go wherever I'm placed. I don't have a huge preference.
Jen, let me ask you this, because actually Josh and I were talking about it before. I want to leave this up to you. You were the one person who put awards as your second choice. And if you had a choice, would you rather co-chair events or chair awards?
I don't really know what the awards part would entail. To be honest with you, this is my first commission. What exactly would that entail, high level?
Yeah, so it would be, well, typically, some of it would involve outreach to the community of making sure to get the word out to different organizations and individuals so they can spread the word and have people apply for our awards. So it's our human rights awards that come out in the fall of every year. We solicit nominations and then we award those towards the end of the year. And then before then, usually we'll do some things just to review the application, see if we want to make any changes to it. And then after that, we work at having, once we've selected them, we work at having them come and speak at our meetings.
Oh,
So I
sure.
guess
Yeah, I would definitely be willing to do that for the awards.
All right. And I'm wondering if you wanted to be the lead person on that, if we had Eileen and Shinwar be the co-chairs for the events? You think? They're
Yeah,
the
I'd
other
be
ones that
okay
have-
with that, yeah.
Shinwar's not here, but he put that as his top choice. I don't know, Jen, Mikkel, what do you think?
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Yep, I do too.
Then we have, that's events. Education is next. And I'm looking, Mikkel, to see where your votes fell in terms of what your top choice would be.
I
I'm
don't
happy to go
remember.
anywhere.
Me too.
Well, Mikhail was the one person that put one for outreach,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and everybody else ranked it at 3, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
So I'm the winner.
One other thing I thought about too is I wonder, should we combine outreach and education? And you and I could co-chair those and work on it together too.
I'd be good with that.
Because they were,
It is kind of one and the same.
I do really think so too, yeah. And
That'd be
I
good.
wondered if 4 committees is a little much for us too. So then that would bring it down to 3.
I'm good with that, Deb.
So that would, then we would have, for events, we would have Shinwar and Eileen, and then we would do outreach and education, and it would be Mikkel and Deb. And then Jen would be awards. And then we would want to have others join in on some of the others because, you know, as members, or again, we could even, if someone wanted to co-chair on awards too, we could have 2 people. I think it's not bad to have 2 commissioners helping out on each one. Because we don't have votes for anybody else, but if any of the others wanted to, right?
So do we
That sounds good to
leave
me.
it at that and then ask Connie and Saham to just pick which group they'd like to assist with?
And Connie, if he's chair, he may not, but yeah,
Or if they want to?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do we need a formal motion for this? Okay. Josh is shaking his head no, so I'll just
Good.
put for the record. Okay. Then the other item on that was talking about outreach. And so we'd want to work at getting the word out about meeting, you know, bringing in people from the community to be on these subcommittees. Should we have a discussion of that tonight then, of how we would go about doing that? I think some of it we'd have to figure out when the subcommittees are meeting and how often they're meeting and, you know.
Or is that something we want to leave to the chairs to just figure out? I mean, some of the details of how often meeting, where.
Yeah, so for now, you mean the subcommittee chairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. So what if we set as our next step would be between now and the next meeting, if the chairs of each of the subcommittee start to put some, put some plans together of when they would want to meet, how often they think they should meet, and we can bring that, and then we can work on getting some information out to people about joining those subcommittees.
I like that idea. One thing I thought is with our event coming up is having a sign-up sheet and just having people in the community while we're talking to them. Are you interested in volunteering? This is something new that we're doing. And we can get their email addresses, their names, and they don't even necessarily need to commit to any specific committee at the moment, but at least we can start getting some community interest out there and getting the word out and getting their emails, because that's what's really going to help.
I think that's a great idea.
I do too. Josh, do you see any problem with us getting email addresses and?
Nope.
Is
No,
there
that
any
sounds like
reason
a
we
great
wouldn't?
idea.
Okay.
While at these events like Juneteenth and Pride in the Park, it'd be a great time as people are stopping by and meeting you guys and discussing things. Perfect time to ask if they're interested in participating.
Well, as one of the event chairs, I will put together a sign-up sheet and I'll send it to Josh, and then you can send it out to everyone else to make sure it's okay. It'll be pretty basic, but just so everybody can see it and make sure it's okay. So I will take care of that.
Yay.
And actually, if you could then, when we have it finalized, send it to me, because I'm bringing this stuff over for us to set up.
Okay.
So Josh will be out of town, so I'll print it, and I have got a clipboard, and I can grab, and I'll make sure that we have it there on Saturday morning.
Okay, perfect.
And let me, just before we move on, do we want to even, we could put on it that we do have, in case, I mean, do we want a list that they could work on? any other thing? Any like of those categories, or do you think we should?
I could put it down as categories where they can check it off. Maybe they would be interested in everything. Maybe they just don't even know right now and they can leave it blank. But I'll put each committee on there. And this way they can check it off if they want, so.
The other thing I'll say, so Eileen, I know Shinwar's been on the commission for a while, so you'll have an experienced person with you. But if you have any questions, or again, just more in terms of for institutional memory about the different events and things, be happy to meet with you. And I'd also be happy to serve on that subcommittee. And Jen, too, you know, Mikkel and I, we've been on here for a while. Mikkel, you've got more experience, I think, than anybody. And then Shinwar's been on the commission longer than I have. So, you know, we can give you information about, you know, what we've done in the past, and you can use that to help shape what you want to do with those subcommittee, with your subcommittee.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Also, and yes, anytime. Josh has been really great too. So he's always willing to tell us yes or no, or we can't do that. So nicely.
And actually, along those lines, Josh, let us know, like, if we have these subcommittees, since these will, you know, they're going to be working on some different things, make sure, you know, let us know anything we need to know in terms of like public meetings. So if this is, you know, something that if they are meeting, does it have to be on the agenda, or are they, you know, what are some of the protocols? Obviously, I know anytime we're doing things like this, there's, you know, we have to be careful to make sure that we're doing it. And we're not
Well, and as long as, you know, it's just 2 or 3 members from the commission on the subcommittees, there shouldn't be any issues.
Okay.
It's if there was a quorum that we then would want to make sure we're following open meeting rules.
And then perhaps in the future, we could, once we get these going, that could be part of our monthly agenda, is we could get updates from each of the subcommittees on what they're doing. Are there any other questions or comments related to item number 7, our subcommittee discussion? Okay, item 8 is land acknowledgement. Mikkel?
Move that to next month?
Okay, okay,
yeah.
let me just, are we moving it to next month?
Yeah.
Can we just make a firm commitment? I know we have people that have been waiting on this particular item. Can we make sure that we, and I'll be happy to help if you need it, anybody who needs it, but can we make sure that we cover this item at our next meeting?
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and maybe you and I can visit. I just don't know who to talk to about. I mean, I don't know where to, I tried to find samples and I came up with the same samples that Josh had provided, but I really think it's a lot more involved. You have to actually know the area. I mean, it's a lot. The research that I did, I'm like, this is above my ability. So I need somebody who's a little more, who knows a little more about it than, it's not just a matter of just writing a land. I mean, you have to have some historical information.
Right, and we want to make sure that we are mindful and respectful in however we put that together.
Right, exactly.
And it might be worth reaching out too to the YEMCOM staff, some of the historical staff that might be able to provide some info for you, or some guidance.
Okay.
And also, even though we are on the Moorhead side, we have a Native American Commission in Fargo that, you know, this area is, it's, you know, while we formally recognize it as 2 states now, it's one area, and so I think that would be a good place to, you know, to reach out to them as well.
Yep, I just don't want to, I want to be very careful on how we do it to make sure we've got all of our, everything done correctly, so,
Right.
and respectfully.
Okay, but yeah, we'll make sure that we have that on our agenda for our next meeting, and that we cover it at our next meeting. Okay, great. All right, item 9, reports, announcements, upcoming events. Do we have any reports from the commission? Commissioners have any reports? Hey, I'll call on myself. I have just a few updates. One is just to remind people that we are one of the sponsors of Juneteenth, of Moorhead's Juneteenth celebration. this Saturday in Gooseberry Park. It's from 10 to 3:30. It's a, great event, and we are, it's officially recognized by the city of Moorhead. We have a booth there for our Human Rights Commission, and I know we have folks that have signed up to volunteer from the commission. If you haven't and you are able, just so that we can have more than one, you can contact Josh, and he can give you some of the time slots. We have 3 different time slots during the day. But I'll also just say to everybody, anybody who happens to be watching this, or if you know other people who are thinking of going, that they are looking for some other volunteers. And you don't have to pick a specific time, but if you are interested in just volunteering to help out that day, they're looking for people that could go around and go to the vendors and see if they need anything, pick up garbage, things like that. You can come and go to the registration desk when you arrive, and they'll give you some instructions and a volunteer name tag. I wanted to thank Destiny Holiday and Cassie Weiss from Birthing of a Diamond, the nonprofit organization that is really putting everything together for this. And it's been an honor to be able to work with them on this event, and I'm proud that Moorhead is co-sponsoring it this year. It'll be a fun family event. There's music, dancing. We've got some speakers. I know that our chair for the Human Rights Commission, Connie Odden, is one of the speakers, but also face painting, bounce house. I believe the fire department will be there, and I think the police will be there. So lots of great activities going on, but just a great event for the day to celebrate Juneteenth. I also wanted to take a minute to thank our staff member, Joshua Huffman, for the work that he did organizing our cleanup event this Saturday. We cleaned up on 20th Street in Moorhead. It was nice for us as a commission to be able to work on that, but we couldn't have done it if it weren't for Josh, who did all of the legwork to plan it and even brought his kids along on a Saturday to help with that event. And then I met this week with our former vice chair, Representative Heather Keeler, to talk about Indigenous Peoples Day. And so we'll be talking more soon, but now that we have our events committee co-chairs, I'll talk with you about that, but they're eager to start planning that because Moorhead is the main organizer for it this year. We're taking the lead on it. Although just to remind you, it is we always want this to be a collaborative event, so we'll be working with on both sides of the river and with many of our different community partners, and hopefully planning a great Indigenous Peoples Day for 2021. And that's all I have to report. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, and I don't believe we have.
Deb, I was going to say, I saw on Facebook there's an event for Juneteenth. If you guys have Facebook, and get on there and share it. I shared it just, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, just to kind of get the word out. It had the Gooseberry Park information, the time, and all that stuff. So it's out there, so you can share it.
Great suggestion. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other announcements or upcoming events? Obviously, look for things for Pride in the Park, too. That'll be our next great summer event. And I don't believe we have any new business. So if there's no other items, then we are adjourned at 5:32. Thank you, Moorhead. Thanks, commissioners.